Hey, and welcome to another episode of The Last Drop. I am your host, of course, Jake the Wizard Talapic, and I've got a special guest this week, Josh Joseph. Josh, what's up?
Heyo.
Dude, I'm so excited to have you on this episode, man.
Long time watcher. Long time being. I saw a full episode or two. Happy
Josh, what do you do real quick before we jump into it? What's your role?
I work for you, and I work for Dave. So, and I will say, and this isn't just blowing smoke or anything like that. It's been like job satisfaction level very high.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad to hear. And Phil in HR, if you heard that, just take a note.
Phil.
Take a note. Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for stepping into some big shoes of Dave's this week for this episode. If you've never listened to The Last Drop, here is what we're going to do. We're going to do two things, and we're going to have a great time doing it. First thing is we're going to come up with a crazy business idea. We're going to discuss something just wild, erratic. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I don't know. But we're going to try and solve all the problems that we can before we finish our delicious beverages. That's right. And every episode we drink something cool. This week we're drinking. I haven't even started drinking yet, and the words are gone.
It's that good.
It's that good. Glen Fodry, I've got their 12-year aged Japanese Mizunara oak cask finish scotch here
Oak
today.
cask. I'd love to see
So
that.
there you go. Really excited to tap into this. So salute, Josh, to this episode. All right. What's our business idea? Well, let me tell you. Here is the idea. This is going to be a local sandwich shop with very comfortable seating arrangements. And not only are you going to get a wonderful sandwich, but if you choose, a member of the staff will sit and conversate with you in a kind of stylized micro chat therapy session.
Interesting.
That we are calling the BroDega. I guess it doesn't have to specifically be for men, but that's our concept. So we've got a great business idea, or at least a business idea. We've got a delicious beverage. We're going to work it down to the last drop, so hold on to your glass. Josh, if you were going to open the BroDega, where are you starting? What's the first challenge out of the gate that you see establishing this business?
I think the first thing that came to mind is like I immediately built up an image of what this place looks like, and it was kind of a cafe setting with enough space to, I guess, stretch your legs a little bit, not like a tight booth. But I think the first challenge would be figuring out if that kind of thing resonates in the area. Do people tend to enjoy that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think would be really cool. One concept that we talk about occasionally on this podcast is called the third place. Do you know the concept of the third place?
I do.
So for those of you who don't know what the concept of the third place is that everybody needs the third place. And so what is the third place? You have your home, you have work, you need a third place, a third location to be at as part of your life. And in the era of social media and, swiping to meet people, the third place has kind of suffered.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, just, being a remote worker, I've had to find a second place. A third place is quite a challenge. So now I'm thinking a residential area where people tend to have remote work, which probably means, don't have to live in a higher end area or anything like that, or like a city adjacent area to work remotely. So now I'm thinking some kind of place that has a lot of remote workers.
Absolutely. Kind of in that suburby range, right? Like right between maybe where the city and the suburbs really kind of transition. Maybe that's where you're looking to place the BroDega. I also like this concept for kind of a situational reason, and that is that the younger generations, right, the bottom tail of millennials and the Gen Zers, are a little bit more open to the kind of casual personal conversation. The concept of having a therapeutic conversation, or at least an open and honest conversation, I feel like is much more resonant with that younger crowd than it is with maybe older millennials or Gen Xers or even, boomers. Oh, I lost your mic.
There we go. I can see that. I think my vision of the older generation meeting, I'm picturing a lot of people in their like GMCs or F-150s that they've like kept going. They all have really old, notepad in the front pocket, and like those older guys, they'll sit down and have coffee, and that's kind of about it. I never really caught what they talk about, but in my mind, I can see that happening. I doubt it was very in-depth conversations, but I think the target demographic for that is really interesting. I think I could see that.
Now, let's talk about the sandwich piece of this, right? Because the idea behind the BroDega is that it's not just a place like a library to go, but it's a food establishment. It's bustling. It's got some kind of casual energy to it. Obviously, you want the food to be good. That's kind of a big thing right now, is that even small food places have to be mildly original in their food offerings. Are there any trends that you would try to capture, or maybe even trends you'd try to stay away from when designing your menu out for this?
I think I would keep it simple, and I don't know if there's room for making a sandwich and that is like a hint towards what you want to talk about. Like you order the sandwich and I don't know, like maybe the wrapper is like, I'm feeling like, I'm having some relationship struggles or something like that. I don't know how in depth the servers go. So I have thoughts around a themed sandwich just for like conversation point. But to me, it sounds like good quality ingredients, maybe nothing like too crazy. Definitely a step above something like Jersey Mike or, which I love Jersey Mike's or Subway.
Yeah, I almost feel like the BroDega has to be that pot bellies and higher level experience. You're not thinking of it as a fast food joint. And definitely taking advantage of trends like, ooh, let's get something with truffle in there, Oh,
yeah. Right.
Let's get some crazy harissa oils or something on the sandwiches. Really something that, like, regardless of whether you go there for the companionship part or not, you're gonna have a good meal and it's comfy to be at, right? I'm thinking like not booths.
Not booths. I think chips made there, like fried in a fryer with potatoes being cut there. Just what is that? I can't remember the place now. In-N-Out Burger or something. Which place makes the fries like right there? They're like cramming it through. I don't know. Is that Five Guys?
I mean, Five Guys is awesome, but that's because of the peanut oil. But that's just
Right. Okay. Well, I'm thinking a custom chip or a chip made on the spot. Lost my train of thought there, but I'm liking this. I'm personally ready to go to this.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like not booths or like not like a lot of tables, but more loungy focused. Definitely still enough tabletop spaces to have eating happening, but I want it to feel almost like, I hesitate to say it, but like a hookah lounge, somewhere where you're gonna relax, like actually truly chill out.
I immediately worry about fast cleanup, and for like, I feel like the more luxurious, like the more textures they're gonna be. Maybe I'm wrong about that, which seems a little bit harder to clean. But also like turnaround. Like if you're actively inviting people to stay there, like I just think of businesses and they want to turn you, like find that optimal peak. And for a business that is potentially going to hold people there in conversation, I wonder how that would play out.
Well, so I'm from the Midwest, and there's a chain in the Midwest that I think does this model from a maybe not a specific layout perspective, right? They got a lot of tables, a lot of booths and stuff, but there's a brand called Portillo's, and they're a counter-serviced fast casual Italian beef place, but their floor plans for most of their locations are really large. We're talking like 60, 70 tables. Because once you get your food at the counter, you go and sit at a table, you're there. You're good. Like, that's your spot. And no one's rushing you out the door.
That's comfortable. I mean, just that element alone to keep people around, I feel like that's a pretty good notch above. I'm curious though, like how do you envision the bro part of it, the conversation? Is this the staff broing down, or is this like?
Yeah, so I got a concept. Part of the concept that this came from was the pun of the BroDega, right? Like,
Always start a business with a pun.
always start a business with a pun. It's like the best advice you can ever get, right?
Yeah.
But I was thinking that there is a very popular thing in Japan that are called host or hostess clubs. Are you familiar with this concept?
I don't think so.
So, a host or hostess club is that the staff of the club, part of the experience is that they hang out with you, that they get to know you, that they kind of play the role of like casual friend to you. Obviously, there are some, implications of extension that we wouldn't go into at the BroDega, but this idea of like more hosts, more servers that can dedicate more time to you specifically, have that conversation, have that experience of a relationship. Maybe you come back in and you talk to them again and again, and they remember your birthday or your kids' names or, your favorite Xbox game, whatever it is. And they cultivate that almost like pseudo-therapeutic relationship that underneath, we all know you're paying for it, but it still feels good.
Well, I think it's just so rare to have somebody like dedicated to you or me. Like I sit down, here's somebody who is dedicated to my interests. Like I feel like that quality is missed, especially like working from home or whatever. Not everybody has that. So I personally don't even think that would be cheapened. I could see that work. This actually sounds like something that rich people probably have, like that the rest of us aren't even aware of. So maybe there's a model out there we could steal a little more from. Yeah, I like that quite a bit. To me, like for that kind of service, the price is automatically going up in my mind. So I wonder who could this actually appeal to? I think a lot of people would benefit from it and would enjoy it. Though I'd be kind of curious on the marketing to like hook the introverts and that sort of thing. Because sometimes I sit down at a restaurant, I just want them gone. I want the food. I want to be there with the person that I'm with. So obviously that would be the place for something like that. But at the same time, getting people in that might benefit from it, but the wall is just too much for them to get started.
Yeah, I think you could do some fun things with that. Maybe like when you're at the checkout register, and you know how sometimes they'll give you like a placard for your food or whatever, and they'll bring it to you. Maybe there's like different colored placards that like signal, like, I don't want a bro, I do want a bro. Try me out, maybe I want a bro.
Okay, so it's not exclusively like you have to do this, but this is obviously what we specialize at.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, go back in time a little bit. Why do people go to bars? It was actually to meet people. It wasn't to drink. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of people that go to the bar just to drink, but a lot of people went to the bar just to meet people. And so I think that you have to have that kind of, if you're looking to be a third place, right? This is specifically engineered to capitalize on that desire of a third place. I do think that giving people that signaling option would be really cool.
I was just thinking like conventions, like went to MozCon last year, and there was very much an inviting sense of, like low risk. We're all kind of there for the same reason, networking events essentially. Where like just having the kind of mission stated in the atmosphere or the reason you're all there, it's just so much easier to approach someone. So even having those like little signals to like, if you're visiting, you don't mind visiting with other people, have a seat, chat it out kind of thing. And keeping it, I mean, I think what appeals to me is it's not dating. So there's like not that pressure. It's like just someone to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you could also do some things that would get people to come back and gamify the experience a little bit. Like, maybe you get a name tag that's for you. And, like, your main hostess or whatever, maybe they have a symbol that, like, attaches to that name tag. So, like, when you come in, I know, hey, you talk to Doug and you talk to, Janice. I don't know. But like that might be a thing that could help out with bringing people back in to have the experience again. I also think hosting like light social events there would help as well. Not quite poetry corner, but something in that kind of realm might be a good fun thing.
Yeah, it kind of gets into that, dips into the local pub kind of thing with like local trivia. So I mean, just talking about it more, it's amazing like how many more audiences are kind of like being identified for this kind of thing. I think it's easy to start off with like a certain audience person in mind and like completely miss the mark, but just through talking about it with somebody else, it's like, oh wow, there's actually we can picture quite a big for a variety of audience people for this.
So let's say that you get the location, you got a good location, you style it out, it looks pretty nice. You got your sandwiches solved for, obviously, vendors and things like that. That's always going to be a problem when you have a food service. Two questions come to mind. One, are we also supplying alcohol? Do we need a license?
Well, as someone who doesn't drink, I enjoy finding places that don't have alcohol. I'd love drinking coffee and that sort of thing. But at the same time, you don't want to exclude that many people. I think you get it and you just kind of set hours, or it's really not an issue. So it seems like it would benefit to have it, but I feel like that just really starts moving into a pub essentially.
Yeah, so the thing to remember with alcohol sales in general as a business model, most restaurants make a large portion of their revenue from alcohol sales.
Sure, yeah.
So if you are going to not monetize the relationship experience, that we'll just call it the hosting experience, you got to monetize somewhere else. That might be a solution to that.
Sure. I guess my question is, does this just become a tavern? You know what I mean? Like with how I don't think that's the case, but like how much of the core identity, that like the bro meeting, or the BroDega part, is lost if we kind of cater more to an audience, or is that not even a thing?
Well, I guess I would push back and say, what is a tavern?
A place where adventuring parties meet together for the first time. Let me think about that. I think when I picture tavern, I'm picturing like I immediately go to like the UK in my head and think of like small towns where they're going there to like kind of like we were talking about, meeting and that sort of thing, places to drink, socialize. So I mean, to me, it does feel like it fits into that. But then I'm like, is this just a tavern that we're describing?
Let me ask this question: Is the concept of a tavern in your head specifically aligned to a way it's marketed, or by its inherent self?
That's a good question. I think it's inherent self. I feel like it's one of the things that doesn't really need to be marketed because it's just kind of in the culture and you just go there. Like I think that it has like word of mouth marketing at the most and like game sponsorships, but I don't feel like for the most part taverns really need marketing.
So I guess what I would challenge in that concept is then, if you don't market it as a tavern, even though it functions like a tavern, do you hit a new swath of people that never would have gone to a tavern?
Yeah, I guess so. Right now, I think, yeah, you probably would hit a completely new swath, especially if you go hard into that messaging. So yeah, okay, I think it retains its identity as what it is. and
I
people
mean, from a
would start
functional
expecting.
perspective, you're absolutely right. It's a place that serves food and bev and has comfortable locations for people to stay longer than they would at a fast food style restaurant, right? So from that perspective, operationally, you are looking at functionally a tavern. That being said, I think that the marketing will define the audience in this case because the operations aren't unique.
Yeah, and I will say this is a pretty fun experiment to walk through because, like, even while I'm saying it, I'm like catching things as I'm saying them. I'm like, yeah, well, that's not true, but this is true. Like, obviously, everything kind of needs marketing, but you kind of know what a tavern is. Yeah, I would love to see some like a new concept business like this take off and see. Well, I mean, that's what we do, though. We we track the audiences and that sort of thing. I love the data on these kind of things. I also got excited when you talked about like the badge for a returning customer. I'm like, that's so easy to track how many returning customers you get. Like you have the real time first person data right there. Yeah, I think it's a cool idea. It's fun.
If you were to take this to market, where do you think you'd start with the marketing? Let's say you got the building, you got the sign. Maybe you don't have the sign yet. Maybe you're still deciding on the branding. How are you stylizing this, and then how are you taking it to market?
I'll see if I can answer this question because I think my mind starts somewhere else. Like we already kind of identified the audience a bit, but I want to start with pain points for reaching out, and that kind of like tells me where to reach out. Like where are people? Where do they look when they're like looking for some kind of connection? I have friends who've gone to new areas and they go to like meetup.com or they'll even use like Bumble for like friendship meetups and that sort of thing. So I think I would start advertising in places like those locally, find the location. And now are you asking more about like the color schemes and that sort of thing? And
I mean, we can talk about anything. How would you brand this? What would, if you think about the audience that could resonate with this? We kind of touched on this earlier a little bit. Maybe that younger millennial to Gen Zer experience. What are you going to do from a branding perspective that's going to resonate with that group?
I think as deep as I can go into this is the pain points and identifying some of those locations that they hang out to get that word of mouth. As far as like logo and that sort of thing and appeal to like really pull them in, I would say that's not my strong suit. I'm gonna start with with the logo and the apps and places that people seek connection that might not actually be getting it. Like, what do you think? Like, where would you start?
Yeah, I think you got to resonate to this crowd. You want to speak that this place is calming but fun. Obviously, you're leaning into the BroDega history, so maybe you're kind of stylizing it like a loose Italian take, right?
Oh, that's fun.
So you're going like with Italian colors, maybe the font has like it's lowercase, but it feels maybe a little over like old world. Or maybe you go like full on that kind of like scratchy graphic that Gen Zers love,
You're not talking Comic Sans, unfortunately.
No. Although, I feel like enough young people understand fonts that a Comic Sans font would maybe work.
You think so? I know it really appealed to millennials.
So, but yeah. So I think it's just got to be very like calming but welcoming, and have just that dash of personality that blends with where you started the business, which is your pun, the BroDega.
Yeah, I'm picturing kind of like yellow, orange colors for that, maybe a little green. That's what's coming to mind for that atmosphere. I don't know how well that translates, but that's immediately where my head goes with that one.
So now you've got that, you've got your brand. What kind of marketing initiatives are you going to do to start bringing people in that front door?
I'm going to say the research, but if that's not a good enough answer, I would start looking. Oh my God, I don't think I could just give a gut instinct on this one. I'm going with the research and seeing which social channels kind of meet our demographic. Reddit. Is it Reddit? Do we talk about it there? Um, I'm assuming socials. TikTok, I feel like, is kind of the search engine of the younger generation. I don't know if that's still kind of
Yeah.
true, but and Facebook ads. I mean, they work still. Like people say it's for older people, but they still work, as far as I know. I've gone to circuses because they're on Facebook. I wouldn't say I use Facebook. I feel like admitting you use Facebook is like using a drive-through. It's like, oh, I don't go to McDonald's. But, it's quick and convenient, so you go there sometimes, but you don't go to McDonald's. So,
Yeah, I mean, so like, obviously you can do all the traditional stuff, right? Local flyers or mailers. You can run some local ads on search, on social, whatever. I think that this kind of place, because it's about connection and community, I might run like a special deal, which is you come in, you order a sandwich, you eat it, you shoot a video about your experience and post it on TikTok, show it to us. If I'm not following you as the BroDega, I'll follow you and I'll give you a coupon for your next sandwich free.
oh yeah, I think that's real smart to pull people in.
And just start hammering like that social element. I think of one of my favorite channels. I don't know if they've gone dark or they're just not showing up in my algorithm anymore. But I believe it's called Sal's Pizza. You ever seen this?
I'm gonna say no, though it does sound familiar.
Pizza place. I think he's in New York. Pretty sure. People come up to the counter and he's got the camera, like his phone is like kind of behind the counter, so you can kind of see all of his pizzas laid out there.
Okay.
And you can kind of see over the counter a little bit. And they come up, he's like, "Hey, what do you want, a corner or a middle?" And like his pizzas are kind of like a 6-piece rectangle.
Right.
And so that's the whole thing is it's like, you want a corner or a middle?
You want to be? It's just fun to hear him talk.
Yeah.
It's catchy, and then you're looking at food long enough, you start thinking about it, like, all right, that sounds pretty good. I think that's a great inception for like, you want to eat some food, you want to, the more I imitate something, the more I'm like inclined to consider it, which is like, that's why commercials always feel like a curse, like I'm holding on to commercials back from like the 90s still. It's annoying, but it works. So I really like that that brand that you just mentioned.
Yeah, I also like, so this is a sleeper idea I've held for a while, okay? I haven't
Exclusive.
shared it with anybody, but I'm going to drop it right here. If you want to steal this, you got to have a local location, right? Like that's got to be, it's a requirement for this deal to work. So you can't do it as like, we're an agency that's everywhere. It doesn't work for us. But having a booth at your restaurant or having a spot at your facility, whatever it is, that is 24-hour live streamed.
Oh, interesting.
And so I'm thinking like, a YouTube stream, a Twitch stream, a TikTok stream, whatever it is. But it's like, hey, we want the TikTok booth. Oh, you want the TikTok booth? Hey, we got a TikTok boother over here. All right, let's set them up. And they sit down and like, it's got maybe a little station for them to see like the chat. And so people are just watching, this one booth, and people come in just so they can be on the stream.
I love it because there are people around. I'm in Portland, and there are people that like they take cameras with them and do what you're talking about, but like the business doing it is something I haven't heard of. I immediately, not to put like a hole in this, but like, how do you deal with customers who are going to push the bounds of that right away? Like you demonetized or whatever on TikTok or whatnot. Like maybe we're not even trying to monetize the channel, but I immediately wonder about that.
Well, I mean, there's some really cool stuff. So, like, TikTok just added a feature. I just got this, like, alert a couple days ago. Auto bleeping.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Real-time bleeping?
Real-time bleeping.
That has the power to really bother somebody if you put, like, a dog collar on somebody who, like, cusses a lot and it beeps every single time.
But I think, like, with that technological advance, you do kind of protect yourself from some of that.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good one.
Yeah, and
love that idea.
You could literally be like, you want the TikTok booth? Great. Flip the little screen around. here, sign this waiver. They have to sign a little waiver, says they're not going to do blah, 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 whatever. If you ever do it, you're banned for life, whatever, from the TikTok booth.
Now, can people advertise their own platform on this?
It's an open camera to the world.
Just open? Yep. Okay.
It reminds me of that concept. There's another business that does this. The portals. Have you seen the portals?
I was just thinking that. Yeah. The one, was it Dublin and New York?
Yeah.
Yeah. That immediately had some issues too, but I loved the idea. I thought that was so cool. Just, that was so like dystopian. Like, oh, of course the technology's here, but like it still hit as this like magical kind of realm portal. I thought it was really cool.
Right, and you had to go to the place to be a part of it, right? So I think there's a lot that not just this business can take advantage of, but a lot of businesses could be taking advantage of, specifically socially, that they just dropped the ball on. So I would love for this place to be all about connection and community, right? We want to bro it up. So, yeah.
But I mean, I love talking to you for these reasons. I don't know if it's coming across where I very much stay in the processes that I know. And even like, through the data, I'm going through the data and like looking at what supports what. I'm surprised, like even with the stuff that I'm typically recommending to clients, they're not really brave enough to try things. Like they don't want to try like big things that might give improvements or the other direction. So I really love the brave idea. I think you're really good at bringing those up.
I just did a video on this the other day talking about the whole Sydney Sweeney stuff, and I don't want to go into all of that right now. But my commentary was simply this. When you try to ride the middle of the fence, the middle line, and not offend anybody, and stay in this kind of just neutral state, what tends to happen is you get forgotten. And no one has a strong reason to remember you. And so my take on marketing is, if I have to offend 50% of people to make 50% of people love me and want to work with me all the time, that's a fair trade.
It really defines your audience in that case.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people actually struggle to even talk out loud about their audience. Like they picture one thing, but is that actually who's walking in the door?
Well, if you start the BroDega, guess what? I got a shocker. If you take this idea and you start the BroDega, whoever you are, listener, you will not ever, no matter what you do, get 100% of sandwich sales within 10 miles. Period. There is nothing you can do. No business in the world has 100% market share. And so why are you trying?
I think that's really good to define. I've met with a lot of clients who are like, I want to be number one for this because my competitor is, but competitors are copying competitors. So like you said, you're never going to stand out doing that. You can do the basics really well and capture quite a bit of stuff, but I don't know. I understand people want to play it safe though, but to your point, you're not taking brave swings. You're not going to get like the big reward.
Right. You don't swing for the fences. You'll never hit a home run. You might get on base.
That's not to say you should just dump your life savings into crypto because it sounds hot. But
true. Like, you still need, that's why we do this podcast, is because like you still need to figure out how to like, get sandwich meat and bread for your bodega. Like that's still a part of the process of running the business, but there is opportunity in every element of your business. For example, let's say that you team up with a specific bacon supplier. That could be a source of revenue for you by that team up. I think of collaborations all the time. Right now, Reese's and Oreo are doing a cross collaboration. Oreo is doing a Reese's Oreo, Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Oreo, and Reese's is doing a cookies and cream Oreo, or a cookies and cream Reese's Cup.
The flavor people do mix it up a lot, and sometimes I do think about it. I'm like, I really just stick with the basic flavors, but the new flavors catch my eye. I don't. It's like I gotta try that.
That's the thing is, it's like you're driving down the road, a Jersey Mike's, a Jimmy John's is not gonna turn your head.
Fair.
But a BroDega with, a logo of like two buddies eating a sandwich together, and you're like, I've never seen that before.
Are you talking about like they're doing the Lady and the Tramp thing?
Yeah,
on a
why
sandwich?
not? Lean
And that would
into
catch
it.
my attention. Like, what is this?
What is
you
this
get brand
place?
searches immediately. Like, what is that? So
Exactly. Well, it's have you ever heard the story of the 14 bells?
No.
I believe it's the 14 bells. I could be wrong on the exact number, but there was a pub called the 14 Bells, and their sign had looked like a wind chime with bells hanging off of it, and it had 13 bells on it.
Okay, and they were the 14th, I assume.
No, well, people would come inside after seeing the sign and be like, "Hey, your sign only has 13 bells," and they'd be like, "Yeah, we know. Have a seat."
Yeah. People love correcting people. I think a lot of people know that these days, but like definitely like I gotta go correct that. Like,
is there anything else you would do for this business that we maybe didn't cover that's like, ooh, I would still do this or that?
No, I like this. I think finding the base audience, marketing to them, and then being brave enough to pierce other markets is good. I do wonder, like, I mean, are you just like an extrovert to be the host, or like we did talk about supplying the staff and like the type of person.
I mean, Disney World does it. I think people would line up to be hosts. It's almost like an acting gig.
Sure.
Like one of my old-time best friends, he's a lifelong bartender. And he's like, dude, I have given more people therapy at my bar than a therapist. And I think there's something to that. There are just some people who, by their presence and their simple conversation, provide other humans clarity.
Yeah, I like something Jim Brewer said a long time ago. He's like, we have why do we have so many therapist needs these days? Like, they used to just be called friends, and so like just having somebody to listen to you and like kind of reflect back, even like I'm sure, of course, there's like the liability of giving advice and that kind of thing, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of people just want to be heard, not feel threatened in an environment, so it's good enough.
Absolutely. So, glass is empty.
I still have some, but I'm gonna get anxiety if I finish this all right now. So,
well, quick review before we wrap up of the Glenfodry Japanese Mizunara Oak Cask Finish. I said it better than I did at the beginning.
You did.
Before a whole finger and a half of this. Man, if you are a fan of Scotch, specifically Speyside Scotch, because this is a Speyside single malt, which has like a bit of more of an earthy tone, typically a little bit more bitter. It is so warm, and it's kind of got like a strong peat, which you would expect from a Speyside, but also like a little like warm walnut in it. It's very delightful. Does not have a strong bite at all.
I've always been fascinated by it. Would you say that you can actually like taste the oakiness of the cask that was brewed into?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now I will say this. I am a lifelong Scotch drinker. When you drink or when you consume one type of product for a long time, you notice the differences. Just like people who are, wine sommeliers. They can literally take a sip and be like, those grapes are from France. Like, which is crazy. And I'm by no means an expert. But I can definitely tell you the notes of a Scotch, because I've had a lot of it. as a business owner, you tend to develop a palate for alcohol. So, but yes, wonderful, wonderful Scotch. If you're into Scotch, definitely try it out. If you're new to Scotch, this would be a very nice entry into Speyside because it's very mild, very warm tones. Liked it a lot.
Can I make a coffee plug?
Please.
Okay, so I drink black coffee a lot, not to like prove I'm really strong or anything like that.
You are
It's just-
strong.
I thank you.
You're a big, strong boy.
That's what my mom says. The Portland coffee, I don't like it. A lot of people like it. It's like I don't even know how to define it. I think it's just the beans are greener, like they're fresher. But if you're like looking for something in the area, you can't read that because it's backwards, I think. But Dead Man's Reach, it's like an Alaskan coffee, Raven's Brew. Love it. It's darker. It doesn't taste like Portland coffee. And
Are you giving us an Alaska plug right now?
Giving you an Alaska plug. I think it's roasted in Seattle, but they market as as Alaska brand. So that's what I love about it.
You're originally from Alaska, though, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're an American outcast that's rejoined the fold.
It's funny. Like going to the lower 48, it's like there's something off about that person. They're speaking our language and know our references, but something's off. So
awesome. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this episode of The Last Drop. Josh, I know this isn't your typical thing, but if someone wanted to contact you, ask you some questions, maybe about SEO services, where would they reach you?
I'll share my LinkedIn profile. I think that's I have a TikTok. There's nothing special going on that, but yeah, I'll share my LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, so hit up Josh Joseph on LinkedIn. And if you want to connect with me, you can find me everywhere you like to go as The Wizard Marketing, or you can hit me up as Jake Talapic, no wizard, on LinkedIn. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Check out the other great shows on the Vox and Coin Network, such as the Vox and Coin Show, as well as our unicorn campaigns, where we dive deep into marketing campaigns that were wildly successful. Until the next episode, Josh, thanks again for joining me and hanging out and talking about the BroDega.
Yeah, it was fun. Thank you.
Awesome. Have a good one, and we'll catch you on the next one.